Okay, let's start the session. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Today we're going to be talking about the University of Central Asia, and specifically we're going to be talking about two academic programs that are offered in both campuses, Narin and Khor campuses, and the first presentation will be devoted to the EES, Earth Environmental Sciences. This is one of the most, I'd say, promising majors and the career opportunities that UCA is offering. And today this is a great chance for you and the attendees and the potential applicants to get to know more about the program, get to know our faculty members who are actually teaching in this department, and ask the questions that you have that are relevant to the academic and maybe not academic life related to UCA. And yes, for the sake of convenience, I would like to ask everyone to mute their microphones for the time of the presentations. Should you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat box. After the presentation is over, we'll have a Q&A session, and we'll make sure that we read out all the comments, all the questions that you have, to make sure that you will get all the responses that you were looking for here. You can ask all types of questions that are relevant to UCA, and we'll be more than glad to respond to all of them. And now I'd love to give the floor to our faculty members, Saltanat Mambetova and Vasilia Sulaimonova, who will be here to tell us more about the Earth Environmental Sciences program offered here at UCA. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Inara. Basically, we will switch between two speakers, so that will be some kind of like dynamic, and that you don't hear the same voice. So let me just start a little bit about the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. So I am already with this department since September 2019, and I will be happy to present it. Basically, today we will talk about that why actually the Earth and Environmental Science studying, the importance of the studying in Earth Environmental Science. And I guess it's very clear and obvious that when we live in this Earth, because studying Earth and Environmental Science, that means that it's the study about our Earth and about the environment where we live. So Earth is a unique planet, and we are living in this planet. It gives us everything we need: air, water, food, minerals, and people have learned to use all this and form the nature for our comfortable needs, or we use everything. But if we as a humanity, we does not learn to care of our home, so the planet, it will not be able to survive. So, and we should always remember that the Earth is the home not only for humankind, it's also a home for the animals and plants as well. So we just briefly touch just several problems. There are so many issues that the Earth Environmental Science scientists are studying. They are doing investigation, but here we just brought very important ones, which it's like we are facing with them in daily life. So one is the climate change. Everywhere we hear about the climate change, and it's really changing. So that's why it's important to study the Earth Environmental Science. And for example, those problems, we need to analyze the nutrients or the flux of the nutrients that we use, and we need to learn that how to recycle more and more to save our Earth planet, to understand the local impact of climate change, and improve adaptation capacity, like how we should behave, that we adapt to this climate change, and we do make it a little bit slower. Of course, the sustainable energy concepts, like to optimize the housing energy needs and to develop appropriate and national regional and national energy policies. So it's quite important that, and quite important to understand that those energy which we use in our household to somehow optimize it, that we don't affect our Earth. And here we see the picture that how in the household that energy that we lose is actually. So the red color, it's that the energy just goes from our houses and we don't realize it. So every time we heat, and we know that from the physics that the energy, we don't lose it. It's just transferred from one to the another one. So basically it just goes to our atmosphere, which brings again to the climate change as well. And in the next illustration, it shows you in the percent how much we lose. Of course, the study of glaciers, we are all basically, most of us living in Central Asia, and we are living in high mountains. So and we are living next to the glaciers, the huge glaciers that we have starting from Himalaya and Pamir in Kyrgyzstan. So to understand ice melting and glacier retreat, it's quite important because we use that glacier water basically feeding the irrigation system. So we know that 78% of our Earth is consists of water, but just 3% of that is accessible for the people, and we use only 1%. The rest is exists as ice. And if those ice get melted by the climate change, then it will bring to many potential disasters. So just briefly looking at those disasters in this next slide. So there are so many disasters that we face with them almost every day, especially those people who are in Central Asia. And that's why it's quite important for us now to really study the earth and environmental science and to really think about that problems, because once you come to this earth environmental science studies, you will know that how the earthquake actually happens, how the landslide, flood, debris flow, the rock fall, the snow avalanches, and the climate change, connection with the climate change, volcanoes, tsunamis. And that all brings again to, and this all natural disaster brings again to us to the resources that we use from the nature, the water, the soil that we use for our agriculture, the energy, and the minerals. So basically, that's just short, very short information about the Earth environmental study importance. We can talk about these hours, but we are limited in time. So let's just talk about what does the University of Central Asia is actually offers. So we are offering here innovative and applied study program. The curriculum was developed by experienced partners from University of British Columbia from Canada. We are still keeping in touch with that university. Also, we will provide skill sets and capacity to prepare you or the candidates to face the challenge of the future. And our program is supported also by Mountain Society Research Institute. I have a separate slide for that. But before moving on, we have a diverse and international faculty staff in our group. So I will not go name by name, but these people all have experience. They are all very experienced in their field. They are from different countries, from Australia, America, Iran, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and very diverse. And so if you need more information, you can go to our webpage and find information about each member. And what else is I would like to mention is the Mountain Society Research Institute, because the Mountain Society Research Institute was created even before than our program started, because this is kind of like platform for our faculty members to do the research, and for the students to also do their diploma work, their summer schools, and different internship. So basically, we already have this institute which is functioning, which have many project, interdisciplinary project, I would mention. And this is the examples from those activities that are happening together with MSRI and University of Central Asia. So this is the nice pictures from June 2019. It was a summer university on disaster risk reduction. So next, I would like to give words to Saltanat, please.
Thanks so much, Vasila. I want to say hello, everyone, and I would love to also, share about our program, the Earth and Environmental Sciences, and what do we offer? Like what Vasila already mentioned, why do we need to study Earth and Environmental Sciences, and then what our, specifically what our department it offers. And so, now you're, looking for a university. So we want to, I guess, again, very briefly show you how we, how students study in our program. So basically in the picture, you see very well equipped and modern classes. As you probably know, or you may learn that each student, when they enter University of Central Asia, they receive laptops, and you will have that ability to work on the computer in the class. Classes are very well designed, and we deliver lectures very in an interactive way. Very in active learning, we promote active learning via showing different video clips and also presenting presentations, and we pay a lot of attention, I guess, to our like discussion groups. Like students get into groups and they discuss. They're open-minded, ask questions during the class, and we also do a lot of field trips. And I guess every class. Almost every class, as Vasila mentioned, we study Earth and Environmental Science, right? So campus on Horok, we are, surrounded by mountains. So all the materials and I guess, examples that we can take are there already. So we can just go outside and, get involved with a real life scenario. So for example, right now you see, students went with the Professor Roy to different locations, and they, on the second picture down below, you see how they're measuring the river, or the little river. They also use different type of technologies, like innovative technologies like GIS, drones, the satellite pictures. And GIS is Geographic Information System. It's a computer kind of a program that captures a lot of information, checks and displays. You can easily, take that information and apply in many fields, not only in, geology or in earth and environmental science, but in agriculture as well, in just creating maps and so forth. So we try to, give our students with, new ideas and with new technologies that is already available everywhere. So we try to keep up. And of course, classes have laboratories, right? So some subjects, I would like to ask someone to mute yourself, please. It's getting too loud and I'm afraid that students won't hear. Okay, so in the next slide, I also want to point out that we have, our program have a separate Ees Lab, where again, you may go out to the field trips, get samples, different types like water, rocks and minerals, and then you can bring them to the lab and actually analyze them. We have a rock crusher, microscopes, and now we're getting new equipment such as PCR. We're going to do some, DNA work as well. I mean, we are expanding. We're also expanding, and as a, I guess, university, as a program, I guess, EES, we would like to do a lot of research, and we would like our students to be part of that research and learn while you're studying. You're also learning, and I will mention that later. But you can see again, laboratories are very modern, have lots of equipments, new equipments that we can easily. I mean, we have have access to it, and we can run experiments and bring again the theory. We apply our theory in the lab and in the field trips. And I guess next, Vasila can continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Sultanat. Yes. So what else besides the very well-equipped classrooms, laboratories, field trips, which is quite interesting in earth environmental science. Even we as a faculty, we are just waiting when we will go to the field and to get some data and see the nature with our eyes. So we also offer some summer internships with the various faculty members and with the MSRI, the Mountain Society Research Institute, depending on available projects. But as I said, it's already running institute for several years, and there is always a lot of projects are available. So we have also summer university participation. You can choose all over the world and then apply and go, or you can also do it, which is like mostly offers by the MSRI as well. And we have possible part-time work during the school year as well. So this is kind of like you're doing some academic work beside your study, so you get experience, and then you're also studying and getting some experience. So this opportunity will focus on students showing outstanding promise, like and in studies and field work. So basically, when you work in the field or you do internship, and then you come into the class, so you will have more understanding what you're learning, and matching research projects with the student interest and capabilities. So those different projects, so you can adapt to your interest, and you might choose, for example, we have students who did internship in the different projects, and they decided to do it, continue it in their diploma work. So this year we will have first graduation. So the students basically did part of their diploma work already in their internship time, and they say, no, I want to go further. So now they are writing their diploma works on that, which is quite great. So, and that was basically very short information. What is ES Department of University of Central Asia is offering with the teachers, with the all facilities. Next, I would like to give a word to Saltanat to talk about after you finish, after you got your degree, what is waiting for you in terms of job? Saltanat, please.
Thanks, Vasila. Yep. Because a lot of, I know, especially, in high school students, I know like parents are, usually involved, and they really want you, as a child. I mean, parents always want the best for their child, and they always want like, okay, you go to this, go to university, you're gonna study, but then once you graduate after 4 years or 5 years, what you're gonna do next, right? And it's really. I mean, you are right now standing in this, hard decision. So you really want to, explore as much as you want. So we really wanted to also point out the, the field work or the professions that you will be able to get once you graduate EES from University of Central Asia. So it's very interesting and diverse. I'm going to share with you a list, and I'm going to kind of read through right now. So it's some of the traditional professions. The petroleum geologist, mining geologist, engineering geologist, environmental geologist, geophysicist, hydrogeologist, teacher, geomorphologist, paleoclimatologist, volcanologist, seismologist, geochemist, glaciologist, mineralogist, sedimentologist, cartographer, paleontologist, petrologist, stratigrapher, planetary geologist, land use technician, consultants of various projects and in the environmental field and governmental and international organizations, and also in museums and in archives. And these are just those ones that we just I guess came up with, and there could be even more. And then now we are kind of, Vasila and I picked a couple of them to just kind of show you, but this list, we want to show you how diverse and broad the program. You're not going to stick with one kind of a profession. It's very broad. You can choose, and this is also important for you. I want to ask again if someone mute the microphone because it's giving a background noise, please. And another another, I guess, point to show this diverse professions is also if you once you graduate the bachelor degree, you may want to continue to master's, PhD, and this is also kind of gives you, what directions to go. And usually in grad school, you kind of get focused. And then Vasil and I were just going to show a couple professions. So mining geologist. Picture has been taken from Kumtor, and if you are from Central Asia or from Kyrgyzstan, it's located in Kyrgyzstan. It's one of the mining place. And a mining geologist, works basically in and finds out, information about the place, about how mining is going to work. So they find out about, what are the resources out there, and to prepare that information for the next expert. And I think I'm going to give to Vasila for next one.
Yes, thank you. So geomorphologist is basically also geomorphologist. They all mainly work with the landforms, that how all the landscapes that surrounding us in Central Asia. If you're from Afghanistan, Pakistan, we are all surrounded with the mountains and the Himalaya, the huge mountain landscape, the beautiful mountain landscape. So to understand actually why we have in one place is very high and one place is very low, and what is happening, why we have our river shapes. So basically the geomorphologist is doing research and studying about that. I will really ask to mute yourself because it's really difficult for us to shout out. And so the geomorphologist, he is not working only in the field, but it's also work in the laboratory. So the next will be the seismologist. So seismology is also quite important because we have that the earthquake is almost happening every day. So when you study the earth environmental science, you will understand that why actually it's happening that often in our area. And seismology is the profession where you will study about that, and you can warn people and bring it to the global scale that, hey, we have this problem, and inform everyone. So maybe next, Saltanat, you can continue.
Okay, thanks, Vasil. And again, please mute your microphone. It's really disturbing, and I already see in the chats that our students are asking to mute. Please mute yourself, so everyone can listen to us. And mineralogist, I guess it does say on its own profession. You can see they work with different minerals, and again, as Vasila mentioned, Central Asia, we are so rich in different minerals. I guess even in Kyrgyzstan, they say we have all the elements of Mendeleev table. So as you can imagine, it's not only working with very, like gold or the precious minerals, but with, different types of minerals. And minerals has been used in nanotechnologies and other different technologies nowadays. So their researchers are studying, mineralogists are the ones who studies the minerals. And then in the next one, I guess I can also go and talk about engineering geologists. And basically, the mining geologist and engineering geologist kind of works together. So mining geologist, I'm gonna ask again, please mute yourself if you can. Akmaral, I think it's showing up. Akmaral, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. So in the mining geologist, finds out all the information about the location, and then it's, again, the risk, if it's possible to work on that specific location, and then pass out to engineering geologists. So they work together in that way. So especially like engineering geologists can identify location even in the city, not only in the mountain areas, but in the even cities. If you want to build something to, understand, is it okay to build there, for example, high, these tall buildings, or, other things like, I don't know, I can't come to my mind. Maybe Vasila, if you want to add, like buildings, right? Anything that
It's
we can
totally fine.
identify.
I guess it's you already said enough about the engineering geologists, also the buildings that we are building, the high buildings. So it's important to have engineering geology who would tell us how safe is that place to have some kind of like buildings. So the next one would be the geophysicist. So this is also very excited part of the earth environmental scientist field. It's the geophysicist. So basically they use the technologies, the modern technologies, and bring them to the field and trying to make the modeling, and then showing the working in collaboration with the other geomorphologists, with the geologists, with the mineralogists, and then try to explore the earth from the technology perspective. So next field is the glaciologist, which is also quite important, especially in our areas, in Pamir, Himalaya, Hindu Kush mountains, that we have all these mountain glaciers there. So it's important to do study about it. It's important to do exploration about this glaciers. So that's why the glaciologist is also quite important.
I just want to make one funny comment that if you can recognize, she's trying to be Elsa.
Yeah,
and you can have
true.
fun being in the, being in the open field with lots of ice, and you can be Elsa.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I guess it's good to point that it doesn't matter you're a girl or you're a boy. So for science, it doesn't matter the gender difference. So it's possible for both for men and women. So maybe you it's just I continue I mean it's and then you can go the last two ones. So the paleoclimatologists, it's basically the scientists or the people who are specialists who are study about the climate, what was in past, but also we could kind of like the climatologist or the person who studies or specialist on the climate research. And that's actually the picture from our university, from campus Horag. We have this meteo station there. Ben founded, our teacher, Ben Jarihani, with the students. So he's already showing to them how it works. And so that's also like kind of a field. So, and maybe you go.
Sure, yeah. The next one, it's a teacher or, instructors as we are. I guess we are the examples of it, Vasila and I. Once you graduate, you can be also, I mean, of course, at the university, you need to continue and then get your, PhD to do that. But in the colleges maybe, or in the high schools, you can probably be a teacher after graduating just with Bachelor. I mean, it depends on different school requirements, but you can also teach, right? You can teach the subject that you learn about it. And again, it's very broad. Remember the list that we showed? So you can, identify yourself couple, fields, and then you can teach different subjects. And then the last one, I guess, it's about showing or being I guess, consultant. And as we mentioned, you can be consultants, for different projects that can be governmental or non-governmental organization or international organizations. Because, for example, here we have our Professor Roy Seidel, and he's now staying next to a dam. I believe it's in Nurak in Tajikistan. And when you're building such big projects or dams or other things that are related with environmental with environmental hazards, you need experts. You need experts opinion from experts. So they would like to invite you and ask you, okay, this is our plan, this is how we're planning to do, and then you as an expert give them a decision or help them to make the decision. And yeah, these are just, I think, couple of them. I guess we also have or we also would like to point out there are new ES professions that are emerging that it's not, being here like 5 years ago. And I just want to kind of read out this study that was, showed. So in many industries and countries, the most in-demand occupations or specialties did not exist 10 or even 5 years ago. And the pace is changing so in an accelerating rate. And one of the researchers estimated that 65% of children that are entering primary school today will ultimately end up working in a completely new job types that don't even exist now. We don't even know that in 5-10 years what's going to happen. And this, as an example, we're just going to mention that today, right now, we are giving this webinar online. And last year, even 1 year ago, if someone would say, you would teach online and there's not going to be offline classes, I wouldn't believe. But now we had to make adjustments and change it. So things are, changing in an accelerating rate. So, and there are a list of professions that, again, these are just, examples, and I'm just going to read out a couple. You can be a water management and policy, or involved in water management and policy, global tourism, data science and analytics. With the pictures that we show you and professions that we show you, you saw most of them in the field kind of setup, but you are not going to be, if you choose ES, you can find yourself in work in the office as well. You don't have to be, if you don't like going outside and collect data, you can be the person who will analyze the data, who will work with large data sets. And if you like, computer and programming, you can fit easily into that directions and be, environmentalists who would do data analysis. And if you, let's say, like, so for example, like science in like a space and, astronaut type, then there's a space sciences and technology, and you can use your knowledge in that direction. So again, the beauty of this EES, that you are open and you have so many choices to go in and find yourself what you want. Like, again, if you like outdoors, there are things to do outdoors. If you like indoors, there are things to do indoors, or you can combine them and and do it together. So I'm gonna pass to Vasila to ask.
Thank you, Sultanat. Basically, we have just a few more slides left. So, and now talking about the traditional job opportunities and talking about the new job opportunities, there are some, I think, important saying that how can I best prepare myself? So you would think that. So we just thought that it's important to know that always do your best in school, work, and home. Try new and challenging activities. It always develops us. It always helps us. Learn about the world around you. And the Earth Environmental Sciences basically is the science about that. So to learn the world around us and be a leader. So, and also there are a couple of advices that we would like to bring you. This is, don't be afraid of science and technology. It's very exciting and it's very always curiosity. It brings you a lot of information, and it's always helps you to develop yourself. Don't focus too narrow on the professional field that you want to enter. And basically what all Sultanat says, that means that don't think just one field, because nowadays the life is changing so rapidly with the technologies. The science is also developing so fast. So don't think very narrow. The best new environmental professionals will combine complementary field and degrees. So of course, it's totally normal to have different professional, like combining yourself different ways. So it's totally normal to have different skills, different degrees. I can bring me as an example. Sultanat, if you want to share. So basically, I finished my diploma work is on chemistry, my PhD on geomorphology. So it's doesn't mean that you are very limited, or you can do many things or different degrees. And don't be afraid of politics. This is quite important, because nowadays when we do science and we do some research and we find out something, it's very important to speak about it loud. to warn your government, to warn in global scale all over the world. We have to tell it. And why we know now about the climate change that is changing and it's getting really warm, the weather is really changing and it's affecting a lot of places. It's because the scientists are warned and they talked about that. And now everyone is talking about that. So that's why that would be our advices. And maybe the next slide, Saltanat, you can go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Basil. Yeah, I mean, these are just our suggestions that we, you know, as instructors, as teachers, would like, you know, to let you know. And also, we want to, I guess, read a little bit of a highlight of UCA Chancellor's guidance. And I'm just going to read through, and I think this message also helps you in order to choose what you want to do next. So among other things, new technologies can help us address growing environmental urgencies. I think, for example, of the pressing need of energy and water conservation and of the risk associated with climate change, weather extremes, and geological instability. Used alertly and intelligently, new technologies can help us cope with bewildering environmental challenges. And this was, you know, shared by His Highness the Aga Khan at the Aga Khan Award for Architecture Award presentation ceremony in Doha, Qatar, back in 2010. And the you know, the message is still, you know, it's still we can use this today too. I mean, nothing has changed in 11 years. You know, it's still the ES professions are, you know, I mean, the unique ones, and we need to give more information to our young ones, you know, about our profession and how important it is. And I guess lastly, we just want to show that we are not only, you know, very focused in our studies, we also can have fun. And you can look at the pictures. Since the EES locates, you know, in Horok, campus is, you know, isolated from the town. We are a little bit, you know, higher, located in a higher elevation, and even when it's, you know, it's a campus where, you know, students do not get disturbed, I guess. So, but saying that, we as a faculty, we get interactive with our students a lot. And not this year, because due to pandemic, it's not allowed. But last year and then the years before, we always have fun with our students. We have our EES club where we do all sorts of things, and also as a campus, on campus, we also do different activities. And look at the pictures. I mean, we teach you, and also we have fun with you. You can always come to us, ask questions. You know, we are very flexible with our students. And also another picture down here, we're showing our setting our chair. Dr. Moshan is setting up our ES lab. We're getting new, you know, modern equipments. And if you choose and come to ES, you will be the one who will be using it. Vasily, if you have anything else to add, I think I'm done with my part.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Saltanat. I guess it's just, I wanted to point that, hey guys, our new lab is finished. The equipment is almost all of them are there. They are waiting for the students to be used. So that's it from my side. If there are any questions, we are open for the questions. Chinara?
Yes, thank you for the amazing presentation, dear Vasily and Saltanat. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. I haven't seen any questions about the program so far. If there are any, we will take a couple of them now, and then we'll proceed to the next presentation of the Computers and Science Department. Okay, there's a question, I think, if either of you can take it. What inspired you to choose geology? This is the question coming from Shahnaza.
You can go ahead, Vasily.
Okay, thank you. So basically, yes, I finished chemistry. It's from my experience. I finished Horek State University. I am from Horek. And when I finished, I started already to be in research. So I was doing the research in chemistry. But then I have found out I wanted to study in Germany. So I find out that I also helped my the geology classmates from the Department of Geology. I was interacting with them and then started to read some stuff, their subjects. So I got interested that, oh my God, it's also very excited. And also being living in Horeg, in between mountains, I used to hear from my grandmother saying that, do you see that line on the mountain? That means that the river level was there. Or when we were building our house, my dad was saying, look, this stone is, this round resulted from the river. And then I was so excited because our whole house is 200 meters from the modern river. And I was like, oh my God, I want to know when it happened. And basically that's what geology or geoscience gives you opportunity to know what is happening around you. When you go now, you are used to see those mountains. But when you do earth environmental science, when you see those mountains, you say, okay, this is because of that. So you start to see with different eyes. So this was why I choose geology, and I am really happy for that. Having both skills, chemistry, because I did also a lot of laboratory work. That skill I also needed, and I till now need it, use it, because when you have your prep year and then you start your specialization, so chemistry, you come to me. So I start with the chemistry subject.
I want to add only one point. I guess I want to tell the truth. I'm not a geologist, so don't get afraid. So I'm going to tell very quickly a background of myself. So I actually graduated in Bishkek, in Kyrgyzstan, in Bishkek. I graduated Kyrgyz National Agrarian University, and my first bachelor degree is in agronomy. So then from there, I went to Michigan, United States, and I received my master's in crop and soil science. And then I decided to go, okay, I got so excited about research. So when I did my bachelor degree in Bishkek, there's a lot of theories, but we didn't do much practical work. And the settings were like kind of a old type school, like from Soviet type, a lot of theory, good theory, but a lot of just theories. And then when I went to do my master's at Michigan State University in Michigan, I got involved into a real research. I did my first DNA and RNA extractions, and I got involved with more in crop and soil science. It was more plant science. And then I got super excited about diseases. And then I studied in my PhD plant pathology. And I have a very, very different background, but at UCA, I teach biology, ecology, and agricultural system, food security, and soil science courses. So I'm not a real geologist, but it is part of it. As I said, you can just now imagine, what background I have, and now you can just totally relate that to earth and environmental sciences, because we're all it's all about environmental sciences. So if you want to hear more, you can definitely contact me. I can tell you more about my own experience.
Yes, the next question coming here is what subjects we should know well to study ES?
Maybe briefly, because we don't want to take the other programs' time, but it's biology, chemistry, like Vasila already mentioned, physics. These are all important, and they will learn more during the at UCA as well. But I think having a good background in biology, chemistry, and physics, I think those are three important ones.
And we should not forget math as well. So it's those backgrounds will really help you to have a base to study really good and become a really good leader.
Okay, great. Thank you. So just one thing to comment from my end is that when you're applying to UCA, and you'll be tested in 3 subjects, which are English language, math, and logics. These are the tests that are taken for any program of your choice. So you don't have to take any extra test in chemistry or physics. This is something that you'll be learning at UCA. And what you actually need to know well is English and math in order to make it through the UCA admission test. And yes, there's a question about the other programs now where taking it to the next speaker, Dr. Dmitry Zubra. He's here to talk more about the computer science project, which is offered here at the Naryn campus of UCA. Let's hear more about that program, and then as well, if you have any questions, please feel free to keep messaging them in the chat box, and then we'll respond to all the questions that are still left unanswered.
Thank you, Chinara. I hope you hear me. And
Yes, we hear you.
yes, and I'm sharing my screen. I hope you see my presentation. You see my screen, do you?
Now, yes,
Yes.
we can see.
Good, thank you very much. Very kind of you. So today we'll talk about computer science department. And yes, my name is Dmitry Zubov. I'm professor in computer science. And okay, I speak English, I speak Ukrainian, I speak Russian as well. So feel free to chat with me in Russian as well. And today we're going to talk briefly about computer science department. So briefly about our background. Originally, curriculum was developed by University of Toronto, the science department, and still we are in touch with colleagues. We are trying to follow the trends in computer science with these universities, with other universities. Okay, we are 6 in our department and 7th colleague is coming. Also, we have 2 visiting professors. So chair of our department, Dr. Masoud Mir and Ayman, our colleague, he's from France. Okay, originally I come from Ukraine. And okay, I have experience around the world, China, Mexico, Macedonia, India, and Mr. Nurlan Shaidulaev from Kyrgyzstan, and Mohammad Fayaz, he's from Pakistan, and Shweb Qureshi, also he's from Pakistan. So we're a team, but we're a small team, but we are kind of skillful and we have different interests. But okay, I mentioned our colleagues, right? But the main people in our department, students. So you see their smiling faces. And you know, recently I was asked what I like mostly in our students. So I like the questions they ask. You know, it's kind of deep communication between teachers and professors. So they're smiling, we're smiling. And you know, people ask me what the computer science is. And if you Google this term, you can find many definitions of the computer science. And one of the definitions that say that computer science is the study of processes that interact with data and that can be represented as code in the form of programs. And because of specificity of the computer science, we deal with many things. We work with algorithms, we work with software, work with hardware, with everything related with computers. It's specificity of this life. So for instance, if you want to boost your programs, indeed you must have good hardware and you need to think what kind of RAM to install, DDR4, DDR3, to use what HDD or SSD, and how to optimize the and also if you want to develop specific software, you must think about native environments. For instance, if you develop applications for Android, naturally you use Android Studio, etc. But here on the right, you see the Android application for the augmented reality. So work with this stuff as well. It's interesting. And as I said, computer science nowadays is not just about theory, but it has concerns with algorithms, with math, with hardware implementation, with software implementation, with development of the applications, etc. So it's not just about computer science, it's specificity of this world. And continued discussion of the computer science, briefly, that main components are as follows: algorithms and complexity, computer architecture, computational science, graphs and visual computing, human-computer interaction, brain-computer interaction as well. Nowadays, we have interesting ideas how to control devices just by brain waves. You're familiar with alpha, delta, etc. waves, information management, intelligent systems, net-centric computing, and Internet of Things, operating systems, programming languages, not just Python, C++, Java, but Kotlin, C, etc. Software engineering. So these are main components, but again, we're not limited, so list can be extended dramatically. It's specificity of the up-to-date world. Computer science, computer engineering, this stuff are everywhere. And okay, everyone has smartphone. We work with internet, with laptops, with computers. We have smart TVs. And it depends on us how we use it. If we know how to use it, we use it efficiently. Otherwise, we know 5% of the features can be started on these smart devices. And it was question I saw in the chat, what skills needed for UCA students in the Department of Computer Science. Indeed, we're talking about specific computer science algorithms, computer engineering, software engineering, image processing. At the same time, we have something common to all students, talking about oral communication, quantitative literacy, information literacy, creative thinking, ethical reasoning, and personal and social responsibility, inquiry and analysis, critical thinking, problem solving, digital literacy, pluralism, intercultural knowledge, global perspective, entrepreneurship, etc. We can extend this list again dramatically. Yeah, but these are core literacies for UCA students. And it was a very good question where students can work after graduation of computer science department. A little bit later, we will discuss curriculum of in our department. So based on curriculum, based on skills we teach in our department, I would say that directly students will be able to work as a computer scientists, data scientists, game, virtual reality, augmented reality developers, UI, user interface, UX, user experience designers, database management system engineers, administrator managers, machine learning engineers. It has to do with artificial intelligence, networking, IoT engineers, Internet of Things, Internet of Everything engineers, administrators, DevOps engineers, security specialists, software engineers, project managers, quality assurance engineers, etc. Again, we can extend this list because computers are everywhere and it depends on us how we use it. I mean, almost everywhere we can find the area to apply our skills. So it's kind of blueprint outline of the curriculum of this department. You see credits we have for specific regions in our curriculum: humanities, social, and economical science takes 42 credits, mathematics and science cycle, professional cycle, internship, state attestation, and we have specific professional cycle courses like discrete math, linear algebra, statistics 1, 2, data structures, computer graphics, pattern systems, programming basics, introduction to computer science, software engineering, microcontrollers. We can continue. You see this list on the screen, and later on you will be able to revise. But I would like to emphasize a specificity of the teaching in our department. We are very project-oriented. So in this list, I teach software engineering, I teach Internet of Things, I teach safety management, also I teach mobile application development, right? So we have specific problem and we teach, usually we study as well, the things related to projects. So for instance, if you want to start Internet of Things project, for instance, I work with blind people as well, and I develop devices for the blind people. For instance, we have a device based on Raspberry Pi. So we need to study hardware. We need to study how to program this hardware. The basic programming language is Python, and Python is of third level in the programming. Before third level, we must study what is on the second level, first level, and we need to study specific algorithms. And because I work with image processing as well, little bit, we need to study image processing, etc. So I mean, projects are very important to illustrate the skills, ideas presented in these courses. As well, it gives huge motivation for students and for professors teach and study this information. I would like to emphasize not just teaching, but studying as well. Because, computer science, computer engineering are very dynamic areas. So we are, as professors, right, we almost all the time, we renew our skills. We renew every month, every week, every half a year, it depends on the technology. Specificity of the computer science. On the one hand, it's kind of tough. On the other hand, it's very interesting. I like what I teach, and I like this area. Okay, indeed, to teach or study something, we need to have some labs, right? And my previous colleagues mentioned that we have very good labs and new labs are coming. Here we don't see IoT lab, so the hardware for new IoT lab is coming, and yeah, we have mechatronics, but new laboratory is going to be open. So I would say, compared with the other laboratories, we have good equipment. Okay, you see on the right we have computer class for all students, and here we have laboratory for the computer science department. I would say it's well equipped. So we have Arduino, Raspberry Pi boards. We have special equipment for the electronics, because if we go deeply, we need to measure some voltage, we need to measure some current. So we have these multimeters. Indeed, these smart devices are connected to some computers to be programmed. Yeah, I would say we are well equipped. Specificity of this time that we work remotely, right? And thanks to our university, that university provides the equipment, laptops, so students, even without possibility to buy something, they have this hardware. So we are finding the solutions. And briefly represent the staff of our department, what we teach, and our background. Okay, our main boss, Dr. Masoud Mir. So his research interest about parallel processing, knowledge engineering, and in the fall semester, he's teaching computer architecture, capstone project. In spring semester, he's focused in digital computer logic, microcontrollers. Okay, you see myself, you see me. So in the fall semester, I taught mobile application development. Mostly I was focusing Android platform. Perhaps you know that Android smartphones, Android platform, are about 86% of the market. That's why this platform was chosen. I respect iOS, Apple company. I respect cross-platform applications. But again, 86% is about Android. And not just mobile devices, but smart vehicles, smart homes, they use this IDE, they use these technologies. Safety management, the subject is about, in general, about how to create safe environment at the workspace. In this semester, I teach Internet of Things, and I'm very focusing nowadays Arduino and Raspberry Pi platforms, Python and C++ respectively, and also because specificity of this world, we use Cisco Packet Tracer. It's special software from this company. IoT is very in use in this software. And software engineering, you know, some basic stuff, some common stuff for all software processes, projects, like for instance, waterfall development model, extreme programming, parallel processing, etc. And as I said, I'm very focused in social activity. I'm a very society-oriented guy. So for over, I would say, 10 years, I work with blind people, and we develop devices for these guys. And you know, this picture was taken from one of the projects. We helped blind people to be oriented in the industrial facilities. I will not go deeply because, you know, specific protocols like MQTT, like Arduino, hardware like iBeacons, these stuff are very specific. Dr. Muhammad Fayaz, okay, he's very focused in digital image processing, automated theory, and in the fall semester, he's teaching data structures, machine learning. Spring semester, he's teaching image processing, automated theory. And Dr. Ayman is from France. He's teaching in the fall semester information technology, computer systems, and spring semester database management, programming basics. His interests about blockchain, computerized systems, suspensions. Mr. Nurlan, he's teaching in the fall semester introduction to computer science, software engineering also. He was involved, and object-oriented programming, computer graphics, and his interest about cloud computing and programming methodologies. With Mr. Nurlan, we're going to develop the MPI cluster, high performance cluster, in our campus. It will be very interesting. So we have something on the table, and we're going to continue with the stuff. Dr. Schwab, high performance computing, real-time systems. And in the fall semester, he's teaching web technologies, programming languages, artificial intelligence, and operating systems. So it is briefly about our Department of Computer Science. And, I can continue for hours talking about our department, this area of interest, but I would shift our communication into our chat, because I think that you want to clarify something. We can read this chat, and okay, you can just raise your hand, and we can answer your questions. Oh, for instance, we can start with questions. For instance, what subjects are most important here for computer science field? It's a good question, right? And I would say the answer is about curriculum, right? So with colleagues, we're talking a lot. We're thinking about how we can help the students, right? We analyzed interest of students, we analyzed market, right? And subjects you saw in the curriculum, software engineering, mobile application development, programming languages, other stuff are very important for students, and that's why we decided to use the subject in our curriculum. Should all students study in one academic preparatory? I think it's a question to university management or to prep school. You can ask questions and related to our department and to UCA in general. I am a medical student, so is it good to choose computer science? It's a good question for us. Over 20 years, I'm in this business. I'm classical university professor, when I graduated university in 1995. I entered PhD course, and since 1996, I'm involved in the teaching, right? And usually students and parents ask me, what is my area of interest, or is computer science good for me, right? It has concern with professional test, right? And so first of all, you need to identify your skills. I mean, perhaps you're good for medicine and for computer science both, or for instance, or perhaps you're good just for computer science. So it depends on your specificity of your mentality, of your interest, etc. What I would say about computer science, it's a very wide area, right? So people with different skills, with different interests can find themselves in the computer science. And one more thing, what I would like to say about this question, that it's a kind of classical career of the developer. So, okay, now I'm a professional, for instance, in development of Java applications, so I don't know, C++ applications, right? But I develop these applications in some area. So by time I become professional in this area as well, in medicine, in the bank sector, in the area for vehicles, etc. So what I want to say that this combination of specific computer science skills and medical skills are very efficient, and even if you're a medical student now, in the future, together with computer science, you'll be able to find yourself in both areas. Okay, what is criteria of form selection for UCA? High marks or need base? I think it's a question to management, or Chinara perhaps will answer this question. And how many electives or specialized courses can you choose? It's a good question, right? And we have core courses, and at the same time, we have elective courses, right? So it depends on the students, right? But again, according to my experience, right, in our department, we were trying to be interesting for students, right? So, for instance, all of my courses, they are elective, but at the same time, all students, they decided to take part in my courses. I'm talking about mobile application development, talking about Internet of Things, I'm talking about software engineering, right? So even for me, they're very interesting, and for students, they are interested as well. For instance, okay, next week is about midterm exams, and after the midterm exams, we are going to involve students in the development of the MPI high performance cluster in our campus. It's very interesting and very useful. So students like it. So according to my experience, yes, we have core courses, but at the same time, we have also elective courses. So I hope, okay, I answered the questions I see in the chat, and I'm typing more questions. But you can just raise your hand. Yeah, and I will see it and just talk to me directly. I will try to do my best to answer the questions. Please go on.
Maybe while our attendees are still thinking about the questions, I think I can. I wanted to ask you the question that's being addressed to us most commonly. You have listed the courses and they seem to be quite challenging and difficult. And do you think there's any background that's ideal to make the UCA or any student fit for the computer science program? Is this something that student has to know or have in terms of knowledge or skills to succeed in this program?
It's a good question, right? And before you ask this question, right, I did open another document I have on my desktop, right? And this is some kind of one of the presentations I use for teaching with students, right? So this presentation is about augmented reality technology, how we can develop applications based on Android platform, right? So just to look over, right? So in this presentation, I analyze in general the augmented reality, what this technology is about, and then step by step, with very small steps, we start with students' development of this application with very detailed explanation. Okay, I'm just show the slides, then you'll be able to see the slides. So very detailed. I mean, from students need just to be kind of motivated to study this stuff. And again, computer science is a very dynamic area, right? So all the time we need to update our skills. So we must be patient and very focused in this area. Indeed, your question has concerned with another question about, for instance, it was a question about what is better for me, medical science or computer science or combination. And again, it depends on the person, right? What is the feature of the person? But again, for the computer science, I see benefits that a person can find something useful or some area to apply his or her skills in the computer science. Very simple example, right? So first we have mobile application. We have front end part, I mean user interface, and we have back end part, for instance, programming based on Java, if talking about Android application. So to design user interface, I would say we must have some creative skills of creativity, right? And it's about something not related to the development of the Java code. I mean, just analyze and try to find yourself in this area. I hope I answered the question. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I think the attendees also enjoyed the response that you have provided for the question.
Yeah, I see Fayaz wrote to me a lovely explanation. Highly appreciate it. Thank you, Fayaz. Very kind of you. I appreciate it as well.
Yes, guys, if you have any more questions, it's an amazing opportunity to actually ask questions, maybe about the program, about the faculty members, about their backgrounds, whatever you think would be helpful in getting more informed. In the meantime, I'll just take a couple of technical questions about admission. Yes, in order to apply to any of the programs offered at UCA, including computer science, ES programs, you will need to go through the same process. Basically, you will need to submit the application form till 15th March. You have less than 10 days to submit the form, and then you'll be shortlisted. And if shortlisted, you'll be invited to sit for the test. The test will comprise of 3 sections: English language, math, and logic. This is the same for every program. So the process will be the same. You just indicate the program of your choice in the application form, and then you will be reviewed for that particular program. Yes, are there any questions?
You see my email, you know, email of our department,
Yes.
so just feel free to contact me directly. And you see colleagues are here as well, Professor Dr. Qureshi as well. You see him on the screen, so just contact me or other profs directly. Anytime we will answer. By the way, you see response from the Professor Qureshi. Medical students can join CS field. And as I told, CS in the combination of almost every field of study, so it's interesting field. I love my field. I do love my field. Daniel, to everyone, till when we'll be informed whether we are shortlisted or not. It's a question to, I think, to Chinara. Yeah. So Chinara, what about shortlisting?
Yes, I'll take the question. Just one more thing about economics. So next week, we're going to have the same type of the sessions where we're going to talk about the economics and communications and media programs. The webinars will also be available in Russian and English languages. So I will circulate the links for the registration. You will be able to register and again get to meet our faculty and get as much information as you need. In terms of the technical questions about admissions, earlier there was a question about the PrEP program. PrEP program is something that we recommend to all the applicants, but based on the performance at the UCA admission test. Students who perform excellently at the test and show that they are already prepared to start the bachelor's degree, they will be offered to skip the prep year and start with the first year of the bachelor degree. This is something that's going to be decided based on the results of the admission test, again, on how you can perform and how you show your preparedness to start the academic program at UCA. There was a question also about changing majors. Yes, you will be able to change your major after the prep program. So prep program provides the foundation in English, math, and sciences. After that, you'll be able to reconsider, let's say, the academic program you have chosen. You can decide to change it if there's a reason behind it, and there's gonna be a committee that will review your request, and this is something that's possible and will be managed accordingly. Then in terms of shortlisting, once you submit the application forms, all international applicants, they will be shortlisted based on the transcripts. You will be informed about the results. By the end of March, you will receive an email with the status of your application. Either if you're invited to the test or not, you will get the response from UCA anyway, and you will know get the details on the shortlisting process. So just make sure that you are indicating the correct email address, because all the correspondence from the registrar office and the admissions team will be conducted over emails. Yes.
First question, Chinara,
yes.
about recording of the seminar. Chinara?
Yes. This session is recorded. I will circulate the recording over the emails. We will upload this video on the YouTube channel of U Central Asia. You can just Google it in YouTube. Under the School of Arts and Sciences playlist, this video will be available. At any time, you can come back to this video, rewind, watch any part that you find relevant and interesting. You can also share this video with your friends and family members who were not able to join the session live.
I also want to add, I don't know if it was general question or not, about the core courses and elective courses. Like I think Dmitro mentioned, there are core courses, the required courses that everyone has to take, like general history, philosophy, math, stats. But then in terms of EES, courses also starts once you get into your freshman year. you know, like Vasila, she teaches an introductory to geology course or introductory to earth and environmental sciences for freshmen. And it doesn't like divide it by year, but it starts as soon as you start freshman, because in prep year you study only specific like in English, math and science. But once you enter freshman, you start taking you know specialty related courses, and there are elective ones. Elective ones changes over time, because we try to we try to design those elective courses regarding to what is now. We try to catch up with all the new technologies and new new classes, or I mean new information, and we try to design elective courses. But again, like I taught last semester agricultural system and food security, so that was elective. And another thing to point out, that students are able to take interdisciplinary courses. Like you can take, especially now once we teach them online, you can take, if you are based in Khorog, you can take some classes from Narin campus. You can take some classes from, if you are in Narin, you can take some courses in Khorog. So you will have the opportunity to take classes from different majors as well. Thank you.
Chinara, we have another question. Will we have exams this year? I think this question to you, Chinara.
Yes, I was just typing the response, but I can just read it out. So yes, the test is gonna take place. It's scheduled for 4th of April, 2021. It's gonna be Sunday. You will get all the details once you submit the application form. So by the end of March, you will receive the detailed instructions on where, when, and how to come. The test centers will be indicated, details and addresses will be provided. Just important note is that the test will take place just once a year. So you will need to appear at the test and make sure that you are there, you are not late, you didn't oversleep, and you come to the test, you take it, and then everything will depend on how you perform at this test. But yes, it's gonna take place definitely. So you will need to submit the application form and start preparing. By the way, for tomorrow, we're gonna have another webinar on the UCA admission test, the math questions. Mostly it's gonna be in Russian, but you can join and ask questions in English as well. Our faculty members will be able to provide full information on the types of questions, the strategies on solving the questions, and give you the examples and tips on getting prepared for the UCA admission testing. About the locations and the test centers, we will have more than 18 test centers, including Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. And if you're based in the country outside the ones that I listed, you will be able to use invigilation services. Please send out the application form. If you have any questions, I'm gonna just type in the email address where you can send all the detailed questions, and we'll just respond to you from there, centralasia.org. But anyway, you will be able to attend the test, whether you are in the country and the city where the test will be managed, or if you are further, then you can use the invigilation services. The question about the SATs, if you have valid SAT and SAT essay certificate and the results, you will be able to use them instead of the UCA admission test. The minimum thresholds are indicated on the website. Please go to the website. I'm going to leave the link here. Check if you meet the minimum threshold requirements. If that's the case, you'll be able to submit SATs and skip the UCA admission. If not, it's highly advisable that you take the UCA admission test, because it's going to be easier, faster way to get in to the UCA undergraduate programs. Okay, here is the link. And you can always send your questions to the email address that I have indicated here. Our faculty members have shared their email addresses as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us. I think UCA is one of the very open institutions that's there to respond and take all the questions that are coming from the applicants. You're very much welcome.
I also wanted to say one thing, that last summer I as you said, we are very open. We usually, respond to emails. I mean, to all the emails. Like if we get email from like students or who would like to, from prospective students, we'll always try to answer. And I actually have a example. Last summer, I've been contacted by a student, a high school student. He went, looked up the information about, our faculty, and he found out about myself, and he emailed to me, and we actually had some interactions via email. He was very eager to learn about EES programs, and I tried to give as much information as I could. And I think that's, always welcome. If you have any questions, if you don't have questions right now, but come up later, feel free to email, directly as well if you have any questions related to EES or, other things.
Thank you, Saltanat, for the response, for the extended response. In terms of getting prepared for the UC admission test, Navroz, I'm guessing you're from Tajikistan and you speak Russian. Tomorrow, we'll have the webinar on the UC admission test math section. We have conducted the UC admission test introduction about the English language. The recordings will be available on our YouTube channel. You can just type in U Central Asia and you're gonna find our channel with the
We have another question. The
access.
pandemic final exams were not held last year. Then how will one decide about academic performance? You see this question?
Yeah, so this year we're gonna have the test. It's happening. We will
Okay.
follow all the regulations as prescribed by the Ministry of Education. And luckily this year we have the opportunities and means to arrange safe conditions for the test takers. So it's gonna take place, and UC admission test is the main criteria for evaluating your academic performance and capabilities.
You see another question. Would we have webinar in English format? I think also this question to you, Chinara.
Yes, so tomorrow the webinar will be in Russian, but you can join it and ask the questions in English because our faculty members, they speak both languages, and we'll try to accommodate the needs of all the attendees. So please join. I think you have already received the link for the webinar. If not, I'll just copy it once more time here.
I just wanted this, I just saw shortly Karima Nazari raised hand. Did you have any questions? Karima? Or maybe it will, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, any question now, later on? Okay, we have linked to the math webinar. Chinara sent to us, yeah.
I think we have taken and responded to almost every question that I have at least seen in this chat. If there are more, please feel free to type in. We have about like final 5 minutes for this session. If you have questions that you want to ask directly, please just raise your hand. Turn on your mic and ask the question. If not, you can type in the chat box, whatever is more preferable for you. So I think, yeah, we have taken all the questions. If there are more to come, please email us. You can email our faculty members directly. You can email me, my team about the admissions related questions, and we'll respond them right away. At this point, I'd love to thank our faculty members for their time, for amazingly prepared presentations that provided the full range of information on how to prep, how to study, and how to succeed at the programs offered here at UCA.
Invitation.
Yes, thank you for your time and for being here and for your readiness to be open and respond and take all the questions that we have coming to UCA. The recording will be saved in the YouTube channel, so please feel free to refer to it. Thank you very much for your attendance. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chinara. Thank you, everyone. Good luck for everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.